Today on Dirt Lifestyle, we're going to cover a topic that has been coming up a ton lately, and that is it ethical to like geotag or to go off-road and like share your locations with the world? Because some places people take they think of them as like their secret spot, and then if a guy like Brad or I, by the way, this is my friend Brad, TrailRecon.
Hey guys.
If we go and we find your spot and we share it with the world, some people don't like that. I think Kavanaugh Ridge, I've seen some comments and stuff about Kavanaugh Ridge as being like one of those spots. It's like, man, no one knew about this place. But so there's a lot to be said on both sides of this topic. And so Brad and I want to cover a little bit of this and just talk about, I guess, are YouTubers or people who are, you know, sharing the outdoors like this in this format, are we destroying the outdoors? Take it from there.
Yeah, it's a great conversation, and it's a little bit polarizing because you have people almost on either side of the spectrum, like, you shouldn't be sharing that place, don't tell anybody where that is. And then there's other people that they just want to get out and they want to know where to go, and please tell me where to get there. And then they get mad if you don't tell them. And so it's really a polarizing conversation.
Yeah, no doubt. And so I guess I'll just kick it off. For me, I think we're so fortunate in America to have so much public land that we can access, and we own it.
Yeah,
that's what's so rad about it. So I have a foot on both sides of this issue, and I've been slowly coming over to more where I think Brad falls in line, where you don't necessarily share the GPS coordinates of every spot you go. Because my take has always been, I don't own this spot. Like right now, we're in public land, and I feel guilty not sharing it because you guys own it too. And so for me to not share it made me feel weird. However, the reality is we as YouTubers have a lot of influence and we have a lot of reach. And so even though ethically and morally, I feel like I want to share this stuff with you guys, there's the other side of it where, well, if 100 people show up next weekend, it could destroy this special place. Right. So it's a tough one to cover, and that's why I wanted to talk about it and just have a conversation. Who better than Brad, Mr. Overland?
I think it's, you know, in the beginning, I didn't think about it. Like, I would just put GPS coordinates to trailheads or GPS coordinates to places we were camping in the beginning, and it wasn't even something I thought about. And then as our channels start to grow, you realize how many people want to do and go the places that you're going.
Yep.
And first of all, I will say that just about everywhere I go is easily accessible by anybody, because usually I do the research myself. Like, I'll go online, I'll find it. So it's not like it's this hidden secret. Usually I'm looking it up and I know I kind of want to go in this area, same as you did for here.
Yeah.
But I think the problem has kind of, and it is a little bit of a problem. I hate to use that word, but it is when you post that coordinate, that makes it accessible to anybody, and maybe not some of the right people. Like some of the people that are not going to pack it in or pack it out, they may just be like, oh, I'm just going to go to that coordinate, I'm going to have a big old party or whatever, and just go out there. Instead of like the people that really take this, this is so important to them to keep this right.
Yeah. They're
going to do the homework a little bit. They're going to do the research. They're going to do the planning. And so I hate that I don't share it anymore, but you have to think about that responsibility a little bit.
I do, yeah, and that's the reality of it. It's like I said, there's the moral and the ethical side of it, where it's like, since I don't own it, I don't want to keep it a secret. Right. Plus, I think that the more, honestly, there's plenty of public land for everyone. I really believe that. Yeah. And the more people that come out and enjoy this stuff, the more people that we have on our side voting in people that are not going to close this land and or sell it off or any of that stuff. So I think there's value in bringing more people outdoors, and there has been a huge boom since COVID of people coming outdoors. But the reality is, you and I, we could blow up a spot and make it to where, and the cool thing is, the people that do watch our channels, I think the majority of them are people who are gonna clean up garbage, even if it's not theirs. Right. They're gonna respect the land and stuff like that. But what if we do give coordinates to somewhere, and then a TrailRecon fan or a Dirt Lifestyle fan comes out and does wreck it? That just doesn't look good on us either. Yeah. So it's so complicated, and I'm obviously still very torn, because on one side of the coin, like our trip that we did last year, where we went down to California and did Poker Flats, I literally got on Google and was like, ghost towns in Northern California. The research was that easy.
Yeah.
So anybody could find it. And I did give some coordinates and exact locations to where we were and stuff. And I didn't feel bad about it because it was so easy for me to find. But there's the other side of it, where I don't want that place to get ruined.
Yeah.
Because a bunch of people come up there and they start taking some of the relics of the past, and you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's unfortunate.
Let me step on the other side of the line here for a minute. So if we did share it, there's so many other applications and websites out there that have information about it that I think we would only be a fraction of that.
Definitely.
Right? I mean, there's the iOverlander app. There's the Dirt website. There's trailsoffroad.com. There's all these websites that you can go to and apps that you can go to that'll tell you, like the iOverlander has got community shared spots, so people will tag spots that they're going to.
Yeah.
I mean, thousands and thousands of people are using those every day.
And that has a bigger impact than YouTubers.
I think so.
It really does.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's so much more information on there and so much more. We're basically just amateur film. We're videographers just videoing ourselves having a good time.
You're a little bit better than an amateur, dude. Your video's pretty good.
Well, I appreciate it. You as well, sir. But we're just documenting ourselves having a good time, and we only can go to so many places. Whereas those apps, I mean, it can show you the entire, like I use Onyx. I mean, you can just zoom in wherever. Like, I wonder where in Northern Cascades could I go camp, and it be like the right kind of land and where and all that. You could just zoom in on that area. Oh, here we go. Here's an end of a road, end of a road, end of a road. Throw 3 waypoints, and so it's like that's when I come back to. It doesn't matter if we share the location.
Yeah.
But again, that's why I'm so torn, because on one side of it, it's so easy to find these places. Right. I feel like, how much damage are we really doing? But on the other side, we do bring extra people to the places we go.
Think about the value, though, that goes into doing the research yourself, right? Like, you researched this entire trip, which has been amazing, by the way, and we're only on day 4 of this trip. But you didn't have like exact locations on where we camp. You had an area. You did a bunch of homework, and you have hit a home run every time we have hit a camp spot.
Super lucky.
I think there's such a reward in doing that homework yourself.
Definitely.
Like, I don't ever just like, hey, give me a GPS coordinate, I'm going to go there. I do the same thing. I'm like, I want to go to the Olympic Peninsula and let's go camp, find a camp somewhere here. And you get to that spot and you're like, oh, that's so amazing. And it's like this full reward of having gone through all that work.
No doubt about it.
It's not like somebody just giving you the answer to a test. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt about it. And so, I mean, I guess like the long and short of it is, I don't feel like we as YouTubers are ruining. We get blamed.
Yeah, we do.
Everyone wants to point the blame at whatever public, figurehead or whatever of, you. I mean, you're like Mr. Overland on YouTube, so I'm sure people are pointing the finger at you with some stuff.
Yeah.
But the reality is, it's so easy to get this information, and so easy. The reason people are going outside more is that people are rediscovering. Maybe they went camping as a kid or whatever, and because they got locked in with COVID, people are so excited to get outside again.
Yep.
And so I think that at the end of the day, we do play a part in this, but I think that it's not as big of a part as people might think.
I think the bigger part is us inspiring people to want to go out and be there, and so
which I'm happy to be the conduit for that.
Absolutely, people need to get out and enjoy these places. Come out here with your family, make some amazing memories that you'll never forget. And you might find a good camp spot. You might find a not so good camp spot.
Yeah.
But sometimes those are the fun parts of the adventure too, and just getting out here. And so I think we're mostly guilty for that, for inspiring people to come to these places.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Yeah. It is. I'm inspired by your videos. I watch you go out fun. I'm like, I want to go down there. That looks awesome.
Right? Yeah.
And but yeah, so I guess a really nice way to kind of like the next topic that we could dovetail into would be like the best ways to find these places, to where you don't have to go exactly where Nate and Brad go.
Right.
And for me, my process is as follows. Whoever I'm going with, I'll be like, what area do you want to go to? Whether it's like Vermont or it's Olympic Peninsula or whatever, which we've never been to Vermont. I'm just using it as an example. But I was just like, my brother and I on this trip were like, we want to try and take Brad and company from the beach to like epic mountain views. That was the idea. So I open up Onyx, I start to look through different areas. I'm like, okay, it would be great to start in the Olympics because it's such a unique climate. It's a rainforest.
Right.
And I just start zooming in and I'm like, okay. But with Gaia, it's the same way. You can clearly see what is state land that you can camp in and what is tribal land that you can't camp in, or what is a national park where you'd have to be in designated areas. And so I start to narrow it down from there, and then I start to look at elevation and whatnot, and then I just kind of scope out a few spots where it's like the end of a road, and then I pull up, I like Google Earth. Yeah. Google Earth's a great tool because you can zoom in and get a 3D view of everything, and that's how I planned this whole trip. And so it was really fun, honestly, to get together with it was an excuse to get together with my brother Matt, who's back there somewhere, and we would, it'd be like, all right, this Sunday, let's get together, put a couple hours into planning this trip. And we both have our software out, and you got your tablet, and you're just like, okay, this is a great area for day one. And then you move on to day two, and people, it's easy to just put a GPS coordinates in and go exactly where Nate and Brad went, but you're missing out on the fun of the planning. Right. It's almost as fun as the trip itself to 100%. Go through and imagine what it's going to be like to be there.
Yeah, just planning the trip coming up here and then going home. Yeah. Because it took us 3 days to get up here. It's going to take us 3 days to get home. I probably spent 3 hours on the computer, on my phone, looking at places to go. And my process is very similar, but usually what I do is I figure out, okay, I'm going time distance. I want to travel 6 hours this day or 8 hours this day. Where are some cool trails in that area? And so I'm usually looking for trails first before I'm looking for campsites, because if I can find a good trail, most of the time there's going to be campsites along those trails. And so I'll find a trail that's, it's going to fit the bill, right? If it's an easy and moderate, or if I want to go hard. And then I'll do the same thing. I'm on Google Maps, I'm on Google Earth. Is there any spots out there that look like, that's one right on a ledge, or that one's right next to a creek. Let me mark that one, and maybe I want along the trail. Maybe that'll end up being a campsite, or maybe not. It's a fun process. In fact, the trip that I just did with my son to Montana and Wyoming, he planned the entire thing. He had never done that before. And at the end of the trip, he told me, he's like, Dad, that was so fulfilling to be able to have planned that whole trip. We had no idea where we were going to camp, but he had done just that. And at the end of the day, it was just like, oh, Dad, that felt so good to just complete that trip. And I knew I planned it, and we had no idea where we were going. There's different ways to go about doing it, and there's so many different apps to use and software to use. For us to post the GPS coordinates, I don't think it's necessary, because you can do it anyway. I'll tell you where I'm at. We're out in Washington State. We're at this, this awesome park.
We're in Monastash. Yeah. That's the area we're at. Yeah. But you can find the spot.
Yeah, no doubt. It wasn't hard to find.
No, not at all.
And the 3 other amazing ones on the way here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, and I think that's a really important point. That, like, your son was able to just, because of the access to the information is so easy now with all the apps and the just online tools and stuff. That makes it. By the way, this itchy fella here is that's my friend Bear. He's my co-pilot. I guess I should have addressed the dog in the room, but yeah, I think that it's so easy to get this information, and the fulfillment that comes with the planning is huge. Yeah, it feels so good. There's some pressure when you invite Brad from TrailRecon to come to your state, and you're going to show him around. You want it to go good. Yeah, it's gone great. And so it's very satisfying for my brother and I that we're all out here, and we're just happening to find such awesome locations, and there's a lot about this trip that has gone just like way better than planned. Oh, yeah. And it feels great. Yeah, it really is. And it makes me think that maybe one day Brad will let me plan another trip for us in the future.
Dude, if anything like this, I'm in. Let's do it again.
Right
for
on.
Sure.
Hell yeah. Yeah. So I think that'd be a good way to end it. I mean, I at the end of the day, are YouTubers ruining the off-road?
I don't think so. I think we're just inspiring people to get out more, and that's why you're seeing more people out here.
I think so too. And I think that going forward, I'm going to do a lot less of giving exact locations. If I'm going to Moab and I'm doing Hell's Revenge, I will give you the exact, I like using Google Earth and stuff to help tell the story. But when it comes to like much more like private, special places like this, we're in someone's hunting camp. Yeah. Someone developed this. They did an amazing job. Like my brother's on a tent, and it's on a spot that someone carved out. It's completely flat and bedded, and I don't want to blow up somebody's hunting camp. Yeah. So moving forward, you're going to see a lot less exact locations from me. But I still want to continue to share these experiences and inspire you guys to come and find these spots too, because this country is full of them. So anyway, with that being said, thank you so much for joining me, Brad. And thank you for joining me, audience. And if you want to see this trip we're on, he's making the video. So, and there is some outstanding views and stuff. This is going to be a really good video. I can't wait to watch it. Yeah. So make sure you head over to TrailRecon to see that video. When do you think it'll go up?
It's probably going to be 1 or 2 weeks from now.
1 or 2 weeks from now.
Yep.
So
I don't even know what the date is.
it'll be like end of July,
Yeah.
middle of August.
There you go.
You'll see this trip. So thank you so much for joining us. If you want to help support Dirt Lifestyle, go to thedirtlifestyle.com. We have t-shirts, hats, neck gaiters, all that stuff. We have a link to our Patreon account, and our Patreon page is a huge focus of ours lately. We are doing an extra video a week. We're going to do a Q&A, him and I, right after we're done filming this. That's going to go on Patreon. So if you're into that kind of thing and you want to help support us on there, make sure you head over to Patreon. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm at Dirt Lifestyle Nate. You want to follow Brad on social media. He is
TrailRecon.
TrailRecon. We'll see you next time.